evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Intersim Esports Network for your Tuesday night. We are Blendline TV Porsche 992 racing around Bathurst, the famous Mount Panorama Bathurst. Cannot wait for this one. 30 laps, a one-race sprint. 30 laps around the famous Mount Panorama Bathurst. My name's Aidan Schultz. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Paul Jackson. Good evening to you, Paul.
Good evening, Aidan, and everyone tuning in tonight. So, 10 rounds, final round, Aidan. We are at Bathurst for the final round. We already crowned our season champion, Jordan Mulak, last week. So, it's going to be on tonight for second, third, fourth, fifth. Pretty close at the points at the top there.
It is. It definitely is, as they're into the qualifying session at the moment. This is a track where you can think everything is going right, but it always has its own plan for you. So you might be winning after 20 laps after tonight's 30-lap race, but it has its own plan on who's going to win. But we do mention your championship winner, and he's had an absolute stellar season here for the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship. Jordan Mulak coming away with a lot of podiums, a lot of wins, and he's actually fortunate enough to sit out tonight as much as he'd love to be running around here tonight. He's down in Bathurst, I believe, for the real world racing, but he joins us up in the broadcast booth tonight. Jordan Mulak, you got a copy, mate?
Good evening, guys. How are we?
Good evening, mate. I bet you wish you were behind the wheel tonight running around Bathurst, but you've got other commitments. But great to have you up here in the broadcast booth tonight to bring all the action for the final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship here on the Intersim Esports Network. And really good to be able to put the championship to bed last week before you come into this round. And I did speak to Dave and all the boys, and they weren't going to throw any curveballs at you, so you pretty much got that one in the bag, mate.
Oh, that's nice of them. Can never relax around Dave, unfortunately. But no, it was nice to get the title wrapped up, and yeah, I was going to be missing out on this week anyway. So I'm actually in Canberra at the moment, driving across to Bathurst in the morning. It's going to be a very surreal experience, you know, not only going there this late in the year, but after the race last year where there were no fans and pretty much no one else around, it was really capped. You know, the fact that we actually get to go back there and see all the people that we love and we enjoy, and yeah, get to see some proper racing. It's set to be a good couple of days of action, you know, and the fact that the racing starts as early as tomorrow afternoon is fantastic for all the punters. Yeah,
it definitely is, and this is a bit of a prelude. We'll have to say it's a prelude to the weekend because we're all looking forward to the Bathurst 1000 on the weekend. All the coverage starts live on Thursday. It's now Tuesday night, but we've got to bring all the Blendline TV Porsche 992 Cup Car action to all the viewers tonight for what will be a 30-lap. We'd say it's a 30-lap sprint race. There will be 2 or 3 pit stops. There's about 9 laps worth of fuel. If you can save a bit, you could possibly do it in 2, but that will all play out in front of us as we go green. But at the moment, we're still into the qualifying session. We're only 5 minutes into this qualifying session. It looks like it's a 25-minute qualifying session, so that's a really long qualifying session. I wasn't expecting that. At the moment, Jared Knight's at the top with a 2:05.74. Jared Knight really quick through all the practice. I've tried to do a couple of laps of practice around here, and the best I can do was 2:08. But Jared Knight really quick, and he's showing his means at the top at the moment. So Jared Knight in the 22 doing a great job. Jared Knight, though, all season, and even in the last couple of rounds, though, Jordan, he kept you honest, and he did a great job. With the previous rounds in the season, he'll be the first to admit that he had a lot of pace but could not convert on a good race result. And he's changed that through the back end of the season. Hopefully you can see the 22 car up the front here tonight at Bathurst.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first took notice of Jared, I think it was at the Hungaroring round, and yeah, he was just so on the pace. You know, the night before I'd actually done another league race in this car at that circuit, so I thought that I was pretty dialed in, and then he gave me a really good run for my money. So no, there's guys like him, and you can see with the quality time at the moment, only car in the fives, just the kind of pace that he has. But he's also really consistent. Plus, he's a really fair and good driver. Just the battle for second in the championship should be really tight, because there's a lot of good guys there who they've got the speed, but perhaps not the consistency. And almost every round that second place is chopped and changed. So no, tonight will be a really interesting fight to see what kind of methods people adopt, whether they try to go hard early and get those spots while they can, or if they take a bit of time to settle into a groove. And with it being a 30-lap race, I also believe it's possibly capped at 1 hour in terms of race time, so we might not even get the full 30 laps in. But no, we'll have to see how that plays out. And if that's the case, and also with safety cars, then you can definitely save a bit of fuel and make it a 2-stop race instead of a 3-stopper.
Well, you talk about consistency, and these drivers fighting for second, third, fourth and fifth here for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. They might have struggled with a little bit of consistency during the year, but they're going to be looking for that tonight around Mount Panorama Bathurst. But what a track to try and get consistency, because that's a track that sometimes has a mind of its own and takes everything away from you as a driver. You might think you're being consistent, but it just takes one lapse of concentration and the mountain will bite. So that's going to be interesting and can possibly change all the positions up in the second, third, fourth, fifth position in this championship. So that's what I'm excited to see tonight. See how these drivers go, exactly as you said, who's going to play it safe early, who's going to just try and play the long run. Qualifying probably not going to be a big... I would suggest I would much rather be off the front row if I was driving, but not going to be as big a player 30 laps around Mount Panorama Bathurst as it usually would be with our sprint races, and etc., the like that we've seen in the previous 9 rounds.
I mean, the thing is, though, and the balance is that you can actually sometimes have an issue where if you do start a bit further back, even though your race pace might actually be good, if you're stuck behind cars that you can't necessarily pass, and in this it's a really grip dependent and it's a high grip car, so across the top of the mountain, everyone should actually be quite close, and really this big separating factor will be, who has got the biggest cojones to go quick over the top. But then once you get down to the chase, which is realistically one of the very, very few passing opportunities, as long as the car in front gets a really good exit out of the elbow, they've pretty much got it shored up. You get a bit of a slipstream advantage down here, but because Conrod Straight is so long, they'll also have time to plan about what you're going to do and possibly head that off. So it's actually not as straightforward to overtake here as you might think, but most of the people in this category are also pretty gentlemanly. So if they see someone that's a lot faster coming through, I think that most of them would actually probably sidestep to let them through. You got to run your own race. At the end of the day, there's no point holding someone up and getting caught up in their nonsense. If you cause the red mist in someone else, there's a very, very high likelihood that they could take you out in their nonsense as well. As we see with 77 getting so loose out of the elbow.
Nico Filippetto there just giving it a big lot of jandle over the top of the mountain. He's definitely not holding back at the moment. Nico Filippetto currently back there in the 20th position with a 207.72. So he was not letting anything on the line there over the top of the mountain. So we'll see how he ends up when he comes across his qualifying lap at the moment. Like I said, it's a longer qualifying. We're 10 minutes into this 25-minute session. But Paul, jump in and have a chat with us, mate. Have a chat with the incumbent championship winner here for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship, and have a chat to Jordan, mate. It's great for Jordan to jump on and join us here for the broadcast. We really do appreciate it, and especially considering, there's a big tank slapper coming out of the first corner. But we really do appreciate it because, mate, you're down in Canberra. You don't have to be here, and you're up here supporting us here on the InterSim Esports Network, so we really do appreciate it.
No, I figured I'd give something back to the series, which has given me a a couple of months worth of good Tuesday nights. So while I don't have anything on, the house is free. I don't have any commitments, and I should be packing my bags. But no, it's nice to jump on and actually take a bit of a back seat and see what the broadcasts look like. It's nice to watch them back the day after, even if I haven't had a particularly good one, just to see the quality of work that yourself and Paul put on. So no, this will be a very interesting night, I think, and yeah.
Well, we try to, mate, but that just means that I can be quiet tonight, and you and Paul can do the whole 30 laps.
Oh, God.
So I'm good to go now.
You're not throwing me under the bus again. Come on.
I'm throwing Jordan under the bus more so, but that puts you under the bus as well.
Well, usually I take the back seat to the special guest because I can't get a word in between the two of yous, but... No, it's definitely good to have Jordan up in the booth, and we've got some time to kill at the moment anyway with a longer qualifying. So coming into tonight, we might just bring up those championship points here, Aidan. We'll run through those and see how close it is for those podium spots.
Yeah, let's definitely do that, as they are 12 and a half minutes into the qualifying session at the moment. So obviously Jordan Mulak you're speaking to now, your special guest, up there at the point. He's got an unsurmountable lead at the front. Colby Cohen comes into this round in second place with 1,627 points. Jamie Craig up there with 1,604 points rather in third. Andrew Smith there in fourth place, 1,585, I believe that is there. So Andrew Smith really quick tonight. He's actually been pipped now in qualifying though, gents. Jared Knight's gone to the top again. He's gone quicker, 205.74. Andrew Smith back in third. So you can go through the championship standings as they are coming into this round. Very close for those minor positions at the moment. So I can't wait to call this one, guys. I cannot wait to call 30 laps around the famous Mount Panorama Bathurst and see who can get those minor positions. And we call them minor positions, but I tell you what, it's no mean feat to get a top three here at the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship with some of the best Porsche 992 races we can see across Australia and New Zealand here on the iRacing platform. So cannot wait to see that, as we just, I say some of the best, and we have someone Martin Hallinan go into the wall there through Forest Elbow.
Martin trying to do his best Dick Johnson impersonation and make a very short path to Lithgow. But it's so easy to do at that corner. Like with the Porsche, because the nose is so light, if you lock up that front, you're pretty much not going to unlock it by the time that you get to the apex. And once you're there, you've got too much speed. If you're too focused on still trying to make the corner and get around at some speed, you're just going to end up in that outside wall. It's a really, we all know how great Bathurst is and how amazing this circuit is. But with this car, it's actually a very, very interesting combination because you got to attack it totally differently to everything else. As we see another inside front lock. So that's pretty much going to be the story of the night. I think just those front tyres are going to absolutely burn up if people keep locking them.
Yeah, well, like you've seen with Mark Larkham doing his intros to the B8 supercars, it's the same thing here in the Porsches. When you come in to Forest Elbow, it's one of the only corners on the track where you actually, apart from maybe the dipper, where you're actually going to feel nothing in the front of your car because you're braking into a downhill braking section, trying to turn the car in an off-cambered corner, and you're not going to feel anything on that front end until you hit the apex. So it's very easy to lock up the front tyres there, but then it's very easy to obviously lock up the brakes if you want to try and wind that brake percentage back to the rear to try and counteract that. It's very easy to do that because you're carrying so much speed down into that corner. So very tricky corner, but if they don't get that right, I know you said that earlier, Jordan, that you can't get a big run down Conrod Straight, but I tell you what, if a couple of people make a couple of minor mistakes there down through Forest Elbow, you definitely will get a run down into Conrod, but in coming through the chase, etc., it's a different story when they get down there into the high pressure braking zone when you're 300 kilometres an hour trying to stop these Porsche 992s, which have great grip, mind you, and you're going back to about third gear. but trying to stop that and also defend your position at the same time around a track that has so much concentration. It's going to be an amazing night here for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship.
That's it for 30 laps, or even if it only runs for an hour, this is going to be the longest slog that anyone has had so far this season. And it will really show the good drivers who are used to doing some of the longer races that can keep that concentration or that can reset themselves quickly if they do have an issue, compared to those who are more used to the sprint format. And we've seen throughout the season that there are some drivers who are better in those nice, short, sharp races where they just need to punch off the line and try and make as many positions early, against those who perhaps struggle in the longer ones and, can make their tyres work and save a bit of fuel. And I certainly think that if you're at the front here, depending on how quick your car actually is, it actually might be a disadvantage to be in first place, because then the car in second can actually save a bit of fuel going up and down the hill. So it'll just be really interesting to see what strategies everyone takes. Like, we're looking at a gap of, I can't quite see what Jared's time is, but so a 5.7. 5.7, yeah. So you've pretty much got 0.3 between him and Colby. Colby can easily make that up and down the straights and on all the rest of the track with the slipstream. And the aero wash in these cars isn't actually that bad. Across the top of the mountain, it's manageable. It's not ideal, but you can still stay with that car in front. So realistically, if you're still within 0.3 of a lap time of someone, as long as they don't break away in the first lap, then you'll be all right. Oh, nearly bounced back onto the racing line.
Someone had a little bit of an incident there out of the cutting. That was Ricky Provenzali. But we'll quickly take this opportunity, guys. We're 18 minutes into the 25-minute qualifying session. We'll quickly take this opportunity to cover off on your top 10 here in the qualifying session as it stands. So these are provisional results, ladies and gentlemen. This will change as the time does roll on. Jared Knight does set the fastest time at the top at the moment with a 2:05.74. Colby Cohen in second place there with a 2:06.01. Anthony Holm with a great job there. The ever consistent Anthony Holm with that famous livery. I've said it all season. It's not the most spectacular, but it's one that's definitely allowed me to be able to call him the whole way through the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. He's sitting there in third place with a 2:06.02. Jamie Craig, good solid results in the last couple of rounds. He's there in fourth place with a 2:06.11. Tim Weston with a great qualifying so far, up there in fifth place provisionally with a 2:06.14. Look how close these times are, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Smith in the 99. He's dropped right back at the moment. We say right back because he's been the quickest through practice, or at least right up there through practice, and now into the qualifying session. He is in the sixth place with a 2:06.22. Adam Proctor up there in seventh with a 2:06.34. Martin Hallinan in the eighth position provisionally with a 2:06.55. Do photo Dave Oliver up there in the ninth position with a 2:06.57. And rounding out your 10 so far is Bradley Carr with a 2:06.61. So outside of Jared Knight at the point at the moment with a 2:05.74. Colby Cohen there in second with a 2:06.01 over Bradley Carr with a 2:06.6. There's only 0.6 of a second there between second and 10th.
It's just nuts. You look back, and even from Jared to 10th place, that's within a second. It just shows the competitiveness of this category. It's not a short lap by any means. It's over 2 minutes long, but the fact that you can have that many people within a second, even on some of the short tracks, we weren't getting that. So I think that the advantage of being in Australia, this track pretty much goes out the window when everyone else is one as well. It would be rude to say that this isn't the favourite track for most people. So everyone would have logged a lot of laps. It's a lot of muscle memory. And realistically, I've seen not only in this series and other series throughout the year that have run this car, really the big thing that people are struggling with is just getting used to the new Porsche car and having the confidence in it, especially if they're used to the older car. They are completely different, and you can actually rag this one a lot more. You can really throw it into corners and it will take it. So yeah, I think it actually plays to the strengths of this track very, very well.
Yeah, it's a nice car to drive, but in saying that, if I was to look at my practice time, I think I'd be starting out at 25th at the moment, so I'd be doing absolutely amazing. So, better me probably stay up here in the broadcast booth, I reckon, mate. What do you reckon?
I think it's safer for us all at that stage.
That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh. I was trying to lead in for you to be a little bit nice, but you've just thrown me under the bus. Oh, I did that to you earlier too, though. So
yeah, you're going to throw Paul under the bus, so eventually he's going to throw me under the bus, and then we'll all be flattened.
Well, Jordan, feel free to call Aiden Meatball as much as you like tonight.
Oh,
so we
here we go.
You won't know this, but we gave Aiden the nickname Meatball because
this was a year ago, Paul. You just can't move
on. It's stuck. It's staying. You're never getting rid of it.
This isn't due to a love of Subway foot-long sandwiches, is it?
No, but I actually love a meatball foot-long, by the way. But no, that's not the reason.
Well, we decided to do the Daytona 24-hour, running the Porsche 911 car, and I had a cracker start, made up several spots from the back to mid-pack sort of thing in the 24-hour, and no incidents, and Aiden jumps in the car and decides to put the car into the fence and has a meatball.
Hang on, tell the real story. Tell the real story, Paul.
That's the shortened version, okay? That's the shortened version.
Yeah, so I jumped in the car and I made a lot more spots. We were inside the top 10, and I'd already gone through a pit stop. I was coming into another pit stop, and I just got a little bit big for my boots and hit the wall. And I got a black flag, and I didn't see it and didn't serve it, and that was our 24-hour over about 3 hours in. So,
dear. I did the Spa 24-hour a few years ago with some mates, and they were all much faster than me, and we were tracking pretty well in our split in the Merc, and then I did the first two and the last two stints. Anyway, wake up after handing the car over at 1 or 2 in the morning. Wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. Someone had tried to do a flick spin back in front of us after spinning at the end of the Kennel Straight, and that crunched up the car. So I think we went from P5 to spending over half an hour or 40 minutes in the pits. So no, endurance races suck.
They're actually really good, but the thing that really sucks about them is when that happens, because you might spend 18 hours going, and for anyone here tuning in on the Sim Esports Network, get into an endurance race because they are fun, but the crappy part about it, when you have 3 or 4 drivers and you are doing a great job, no incidents, you're getting up there to win, it can just take one incident, which we're going to see around Mount Panorama Bathurst tonight, just to ruin your night. And it's absolutely devastating because people don't know how much effort goes in to be able to win these type of races. You might think it's sim racing, but a lot of these people take it seriously. So, as I do too, to be honest. You might hear me in the commentary booth, but I do a lot of racing, so be sure to follow me. A little bit of a like here, Ape Sports, APE Sports. I do some streaming and stuff like that. So feel free to go across and follow me. If you want to see someone win, don't follow that page. But if you want to see some interesting, some bust-ups of work. But I do a lot of oval racing, even though I come from a road racing background. Me and Paul do a lot of side-by-side racing every night, and we have a great time, and we go all right. But I tell you what, we'd love to be a part of this series at some stage.
As the clock clicks down past the checkered flag time, so we've got Jared Knight still on top. He's pitted it. He's parked the bus. That's fine. He's going to stay there and pole. It looks like, Colby got in the 5s. Anthony got down to just a 206.015. Just look at how tight it was there. Around that top 5, there is absolutely nothing in it. That's a mistimed gear change.
You even roll down to like 8th or 9th. There's only like 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second in it. So it's going to be interesting here for 30 laps around Mount Panorama Bathurst. It will be Jared Knight off the pole. It's not provisional anymore. So we'll just wait for this to click over and finish before the guys are ready to set the grid here around Mount Panorama Bathurst for the 10th and final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. But
he's going for it.
He's going for it. Nah, that's it. That's a 0x or a 1x right there. So
come on, that's generous. That's a 4x.
Oh, come on, mate. I'm being generous because I'm usually getting 4Xs most corners, so I'm just trying to be generous. But, yeah, he was trying to go for the lap there. He doesn't really have much damage up the right-hand side of that car, so it might have actually been a 0X.
You probably hit it square, but touching the wall, even if like you just glance it with the rear wing, that'll give you a 0X. I've found that out enough times. So, yeah, unfortunately, that will be that lap time deleted. But, you know, he's going to try and practice his pit entry, which is really smart because here the pit entry absolutely sucks. And, you know, even we've seen the GOAT, Jamie Whincup, get it wrong in the past. So you've always got to practice. Just practice.
Yeah, exactly. And the GOAT, Jamie Whincup. I'm a Ford fan, so...
You and me both, but we've got to say
he is the GOAT. He is one of the best outside of Craig Lowndes and, of course, the legend Peter Brock. They are sensational drivers, but all our attention focuses here tonight for the final round, the 10th round of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship from Mount Panorama Bathurst. We'll bring up your starting grid tonight. If you are tuning, we're not ready yet. If we are tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network across all our platforms, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, we will bring Twitch back to you very shortly. Be sure to share our stream, like our stream, and get amongst all the action. Make sure you don't miss when we go live here on the InterSim Esports Network. Of course, a big thank you to Jordan Mulak, your championship winner and championship leader coming into this round, for making himself available here on the broadcast booth. But we look forward to bringing you 30 laps of what will be absolutely sensational action here on the InterSim Esports Network around one of the most famous tracks in Australian motorsport, Mount Panorama Bathurst. So, Paul, looking forward to this one.
Well, we've got a warm-up session now, so I think everyone's just going to...
They didn't warn us about this.
Yeah, just putting some more rubber down on the track there, I think.
I'll tell you what, they're all getting ready here for 30 laps around Mount Panorama because they've just did, what was it, 25 minutes here around in their qualifying session. They think they need another little bit of a warm-up to see how the track's gone. So we've got another 4 minutes to go. What we'll do, we'll go on board with Dan Green at the moment. Let's give you a lap or two around Mount Panorama Bathurst in the Porsche 992. On board with the 83 of Dan Green while we get our voice boxes set and ready here on the InterSim Esports Network to bring you all the action for the final round of round 10 of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship here on the InterSim Esports Network.
That was another one. Far out. These cars are just so sensitive to curbs. You know, we give praise to the supercars because they have a lot of suspension travel and they can certainly take the hit, but no, the GTs can't quite do that. But especially around a track like Bathurst, as we just saw that Dan just missed the apex a little bit, there's so much camber around here that you really have to drive the car hard into the camber to carry you around the corner. So let's see if he keeps it left over the crest, because that's the ideal way. He'll probably be braking around where the driveway is on the left here. Yep, perfect. Now chuck it in. I'd probably go about half a metre over to the right there, run it out wide, run it to the rev limiter, up to fourth, pinning it wide. Now he's taking the smart approach there, scrub the speed off early, now bomb it in. That's perfect. Pretty much at that corner you want to pick up the throttle right at the apex, and literally from the cutting all the way to skyline, you can just hold it flat. It's an amazing, amazing run over the top here. Go out to the metal grate, got it. Coming up to McPhillamy Park, you got to have a little confidence lift there and get the front turned in. That's pretty much perfect that he's down there. Let's see how he drops down skyline. Down the S's, misses the inside curve. Oh, got a bit too much pace, and the wall at the dipper. Unfortunately, it's a trap for young players that if you don't sort it out early coming down the S's and you can't scrub that speed off, you're going to think, no, I'll make it, and then you very suddenly run out of room.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all been caught out there before, and we've all had our fair share of wall hits there in the dipper.
Never happened to me at all.
I've done it. Yeah.
Never happened to me at all. What are you talking about, Paul? That's rubbish.
How big's your nose, Pinocchio?
Yeah, you haven't made it up the mountain, have you?
We got
I can tell you, Jordan, there's the jump. I can tell you my nose is way longer than your championship lead coming into this round. So, yeah, definitely my nose might have been growing a little bit there with that comment.
Just a touch, I think. Train spotter note here. I noticed a few weeks ago that in the sim, so obviously this track was, I think, initially scanned around 2011, 2012, possibly around kind of like 12-hour time when they were running the Bathurst 12-hour here. Up until recently, only recently, they've changed all the signage to Repco, because prior to that, it was all Supercheap signage. And the reason that they've done that is that now Repco is the naming rights partner, despite the fact that there was a Supercheap Auto Club board there. That's going to make a liar of me. But, you know, you look at the over the pit straight gantry and also coming down the S's, it's all now Repco signage. And I think on my first flying lap, I was like, hang on, something's not right here. And I think what they did is they did that because they were running the Supercars E-Series as well, and because Repco is the new partner rather than Supercheap, they had to ask iRacing very nicely to change all the signage over. But they couldn't bother with the rest of it, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's actually really good insight there, actually, because I would not even notice that because I'm too busy trying to keep the thing off the wall. But anyway, go through to your starting grid tonight for the 10th and final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship. And it will be Jared Knight off the pole with Colby Cohen on the outside of that front row in P2. Anthony Holm in P3. Jamie Craig out of P4. Tim Weston will start out of the 5th position. Adam Proctor out of 6th. Andrew Smith out of 7th. Look out for Andrew Smith tonight in that predominantly yellow car. Bradley Carr will be out of 8th. Martin Hallinan out of 9th. Dave Oliver Photo out of 10th. Adrian Gretsch out of 11th, and Dan Green will start out of your 12th position. Out of the 13th position tonight will be Brett Smith, 14th position. The number 1, Stevie Skukovic. Out of 15th will be Chris Stark, Dion Jarvis out of 16. Out of 17th, Dan Smith, Nico Filippetto, and we're green. It's happened way too quick, though I couldn't even get through the starting grid, but we've gone green here for round 10 of the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship. So it is Jared Knight leading the way up Mountain Straight for the first time tonight. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for not being able to get through your starting grid because they gridded really quickly. So obviously all the drivers here tonight are really excited and ready to get a part of this one. So that's the first time in our first 10 rounds we got through the starting grid, but we make the way. Oh, Jamie Craig's hit the wall there by the looks of it too, guys. But I'll let you take over for a second and talk the drivers through it as they make it up through the cutting for the first time tonight. So that's the first time of 30 times through the BP cutting. And all the drivers doing a great job so far. No big incidents, but this track definitely will bring something out somewhere across the 30 laps we've got to bring to you tonight. Nico Filippetto there in that ever consistent, well, not ever consistent, I can't really say that, but that livery of Nico Filippetto's. That's been the easiest one to call through the first 10 rounds of this championship, because that fluoro yellow and blue, he's doing a great job. So Nico Filippetto at the moment, he's in 17th position. He's up one spot. But there's the first incident of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
Now hold it there, boys. There we go.
There's a little thanks for coming. There's a little thanks. He's doing a Michael Budge. I'll go faster in reverse than what I will in forward.
Unfortunately, we've got local yellows for a reason, so it's unfortunate that there was a second hit there. But look at this, Jared has absolutely legged it on the opening lap. It was an absolute clutch start from him. He got the whole shot to turn one, and now he's just going to lead by umpteenth seconds to start the race. Colby's still in second. Andrew Smith up third. This is set to be a good battle for the minors, but at the moment on cold tyres, Jared has just absolutely blitzed them on the opening lap, and it looks like everyone's starting to settle into a groove. We're seeing back down the line how it's just one train of cars. Looks like, hopefully, all the mess from the first lap has been cleaned up, and we'll keep this going green.
Yeah, hopefully we will. And it is Jared Knight leading the way by now 2.6 seconds. But we'll go back to the simracermerch.com instant replay and see what happened to Brett Smith for the first incident. So thank you to simracermerch.com for supplying the replay. So we'll have a look now as they make their way down into Forest Elbow for the first time. Someone just getting really late on the brakes, and that's exactly what I said earlier to you, Jordan. You can't feel your front tyres, and just outbraked himself a little bit and couldn't get that car stopped or rotated, and that caused the first incident of tonight.
No, unfortunately, you can't try to do quali pace on the opening lap with a belly full of fuel and cold tyres. So that's unfortunate. You know, usually if the race is a bit more spread out, an incident like that would only render yourself out of the race, but it's just unfortunate.
There's two incidents there. Jamie Craig and Proctor in the fence. So that's not going to help their Porsche 992s. They're going to sacrifice a lot of top-end speed here down Conrod Straight. So we'll see who gets this little battle down into the chase. Looks like Jamie Craig's got that one done at the moment, but that's not going to help their car. Only 2 laps in 2:30. So I tell you what, we say there's not a lot of incidents here early around Mount Panorama, not compared to what we've seen earlier in the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship.
Careful, Steve.
Stevie Skukovic gets a little bit loud on the loud pedal there on the exit of the chase, and catches a little bit of grass, and that's allowed Nico Filippetto there up into the background, trying to get a run. He'll try. No, he's actually dropped back.
No, but he's going to have a good run up Mountain Straight. Here we go.
Yeah, massive run here. But he's going to be on the wrong side of the road as they make their way up Mountain Straight at the moment. So we'll see whether Steven Skukovic can keep on the inside there, and Nico Filippetto looks like he's going to get the job done, and Stevie Skukovic is just going to drop off into the background. So now Nico Filippetto has moved his way up into 14th position. He's now up 4 spots on his starting position, gents. So a good start there by Nico Filippetto.
That's a fantastic start, and unfortunately at that time, you just wish that you had a little bit more qualifying pace, because maybe you could carry that through the race. But no, fantastic start for him. If you're qualifying that far down the order, all that you got to do is just keep your nose out of trouble in the opening laps and hope that something goes your way, and it looks like it's going Nico's way at the moment. But this battle at the front has started to stretch out a little bit as we see a slight lock tyre there. I think that was from Holm, possibly in the 96. As we try and watch Weston as he's making a chase, that's very, very loose going into Forest Elbow. Now he's actually closed his gap up a bit over the last few corners. We'll see how this one pans out, as behind Hallen looks to soon challenge Carr. And we've got the 96 already weaving down the straight, trying to break the toe. I don't know if it's late in the race enough for that, boys. And also a bit further ahead, we've got Andrew Smith really pressuring Colby there. I think he was trying for a move at the chase.
Well, that's something I was ready to actually jump in and say. Andrew Smith started out of the 7th position. He's up into 3rd, and he's pressuring Colby Cohen at the moment for the 2nd position. So the 99 of Andrew Smith, the one that we've seen, always had a lot of pace here for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. He's made his way up into the podium position early in this one. There is a lot to bring to you here yet, boys, but Andrew Smith, definitely a lot of pace, and he's going to want to make the move on Colby Cohen pretty shortly as they make their way up Mountain Straight for the 4th time tonight.
Sorry to interrupt here, but Holm has also been absolutely eaten up. I think he ran wide at Murray's corner, and 2 cars got past him going into Hell corner, and now he's got 2 more behind him. So he's just lost a handful of places within only a few corners. Hopefully he just regathers himself, realises that it's a long race and not make too many mistakes. But Hallinan behind is looking racy. He wants to get that spot. I think he might have just glanced it.
Martin Hallinan is looking racy, as is Jamie Craig, though. Jamie Craig's found himself in the outside wall on a couple occasions tonight. He's down 4 spots. He started out of the 4th position, so he's going to have a little bit of a struggle, but his car looks okay. He doesn't have many war wounds up the side of the car as he follows Martin Hallinan down through the S's into the dipper for the 4th time tonight. He's doing a great job. He just locked up the inside front there, just a little bit down into the dipper. So Jamie Craig is going to try and possibly make the move now on Martin Hallinan down Conrod Straight. So we'll see whether that happens as they make their way down Conrod Straight for the 4th time tonight.
He's got a better run, but also looking at the splits, it looks like Colby and Andrew are really, really tight again. And that's been a change for position. Down Conrod Straight and into the chase they go. Andrew's got the spot done. Now, can he go hunt down Knight? That's going to be the really big question here. Does he have the pace to take it to him? Or did Colby perhaps hold him up for a bit too long? But I really hope that Colby does stay with him here, because both guys have been super quick this season. And you just got to realise that sometimes if you lose a spot to a guy, that doesn't necessarily mean that you lost it for the rest of the race. Just stay behind them, stick with them. If they're faster, they're going to drag you with them, and especially from that really racy pack behind them. Getting away from those guys is going to be a really important thing for both Colby and for Andrew.
Yeah, well, Andrew Smith, this is going to be something we need to look at now. So now Andrew Smith has cleared Colby Cohen into the 2nd position. So let's have a look this time around and have a look at the difference of time between Jared Knight and Andrew Smith and see whether Andrew Smith actually has race pace on Jared Knight, your current race leader at the moment, when they do come across the strike the next time around. They're just making their way out of the cutting and across the top of the mountain at the moment. So we'll see what their times are at the moment. The interval is sort of up and down. So we'll see what Andrew Smith does here. And this is going to be a really big insight here, Jordan, to what you said, whether Andrew Smith does have pace on your leader of Jared Knight. But I can see in the live timing at the moment that he's taking a lot. There's a big incident.
Skyline. We've got a big crash at Skyline. Hopefully everyone obeys the yellows and misses that. Just keep the car parked there. Oh. Yep, that's the right thing to do in that situation. You're right, though. That gap has really come down. But just look at how much that incident affected them. I think that was that Bradley Carr? Because he had only just gotten through to 4th place at Griffin's Bend. I noticed that he got past the 96, and obviously that incident has meant that they all slip behind us. We also see Dave Oliver lose a spot and just goes to the fringe of the top 10. Well, I'll tell you what. That gap is a lot lower than it was on the lap before. Whether that's a combination of Andrew going a bit faster or Jared started to back off a little bit, that gap is coming down.
Well, let's have a look when Andrew Smith comes across the strike this time across and see. So last lap around was Jared Knight jumped down a 206.6 as opposed to Andrew Smith's 206.1. So exactly right, Jordan. He's just dropped half a second out of the lead of Jared Knight. So Andrew Smith, obviously with a lot of pace in that 99 Porsche 992 early in this one. After starting out of the 7th position, he's made his way up into P2, and he looks like he's got a lot of pace early on.
Also interesting to note that young Jamie Craig and also Dave Oliver have just pitted. Now, remember that Jamie was in that battle around where Bradley had his accident. So whether he took on some damage or whether this is a strategic play to, undercut everyone, try and get some fresh air, try and push through to the flag and, eventually get the fuel back. I've just seen on the screen as well that it's actually going to be 1 hour and 10 minutes this race. So all things provided that we go green, we will get the full 30 laps in, which is fantastic. But sometimes as a driver, you actually want it to only be a shorter race and go time certain. It all depends on whether you're looking in the mirrors or whether you're looking in your windscreen. But at the moment, there's certainly a few interesting storylines going about. That battle for first might soon become a good one. Again, we've just got to see if Jared is backing off or not. But with Colby still going with Andrew as well, as we see Aidan Grech here trying to follow Dan Smith. Now, Dan has been one of the really great races this season, probably down on his luck a little bit. He's been involved in a few incidents and perhaps had some not so strong rounds, but he's got the speed, and that shows, to be in the top 10 in this race is a really good achievement.
As Dan Smith tries to make the move, he just shows the nose down through the chase at the moment. So, sorry, that was Tim Weston, I believe.
I think it was Adrian.
Adrian, was it? Sorry, I'll get it right one day.
We'll go through the field. We'll get it right.
We'll get it right. But Adrian Gretsch just showing his nose there in the background. But Dan Smith, I tell you what, you did mention Dan Smith as Dion Jarvis there in the 16th position we're on board with at the moment. But you did mention Dan Smith. He's one of the biggest movers earlier in this race, gentlemen. He's up 10 spots. He started out of 17th. He's up into the 7th position at the moment. So Dan Smith doing a great job, but we're on board again with Andrew Smith. He's got that gap back to 3.8 seconds over Jared Knight. It sort of stagnated there. He did take half a second out of Jared Knight's time, but it looks like Jared Knight responded last lap around, as Jared's just done a 206.13. Andrew Smith did a 206.05, so pretty much stagnant at the front there, guys.
The fact that we're getting low laps like this, like a 206.1, in qualifying, that would have put you in the top 5, and the fact that we're getting that 7 laps into the race, the tyres are they're getting temperature in them, but they're also getting a bit worn. Fuel levels coming down a bit. The track's also heating up as well. It can often be a really mixed bag as to how the car reacts to those condition changes. Sometimes it will really like it. Sometimes your lap times might actually stay consistent, as we see Martin Hallinan just locking the inside front there. But over a race distance, it's very, very important to manage how your car feels. And if you can consistently hit a lap time, you just stick and do that. Sometimes it's too much of a risk to try and go even quicker when you don't really need to. There's no point pushing for the lap record when you've either got a comfortable gap or the gap isn't going to come down. Sometimes we all like to wish and think that the car in front of us is going to have, like a win cup moment. It might have a penalty or it might have low on fuel, but a lot of the time it's too wide through the chase.
Too wide with Ricky Provenzali there.
All up on 2 wheels, and Ricky's got the spot.
That was good driving by both drivers there to get that job done through the chase and through the change of direction there. So good driving by both those drivers. Nico Filipetto getting a lot of inside curb there on that left-hand turn. So good driving by both drivers there.
Yeah, that was great heads-up driving there from Ricky, because what he did, he positioned the car on the inside for the kink at the chase. He was then on the ideal braking marker or the racing line to brake into the chase, and then from there he could open up the steering, he could give Nico the space to have his own little moment, but then he was on the ideal line to get on the gas and punch it out of the corner and get that spot. And as you can see already, he's already opened up a bit of a gap, and hopefully he can start to bring that gap down to the cars in front, who are starting to have a scrap. We're having a lot of Noah's Ark action here, a lot of 2x2, but not a lot of big battle packs forming. And you see the 96 of Anthony Holm, he's started to break away from Hallinan behind him, but, he's got a big gap to Colby in front. You got to wonder if those guys are damaged from the earlier incident with Carr as well. But you can just see the top three have an amazing amount of pace, and that's not to say that everyone else isn't fast, but they're just on that extra level at the moment. Hopefully, all of them are in the right mindset to keep that going.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit nail on the head there, Jordan, that I think there's a little bit of damage for the preceding cars in behind. So that's probably not helping them on outright race pace at the moment, but they're still sitting there in a nice solid position as Garth Duffy's trying to make a move down the inside now of Michael Budge. So Budge is probably going to have to relinquish this position through the chase this time around. It looks like he does that. He does that nice and politely there. So Garth Duffy now making the move on Michael Budge. So Garth Duffy making up into the 12th position. Anthony Harleman, Adrian Gretsch into the pit now, Jordan. So what do you make of that?
That's an early stop. They might have seen that. What will be very interesting here is where Jamie Craig pops out.
Well, we actually heard earlier, Jordan, that from what we were told, it was about an 8 or 9 lap fuel stint. So they're probably coming in a little bit early, trying to get the undercut as we are now lap 9 in. So I'd probably expect Jared Knight at the front of this motor race at the moment. He's got 4.2 seconds over Andrew Smith. So that gap has pretty much stagnated at the front at the moment after Andrew Smith did make about half a second on him once he cleared Colby Cohen. But I'd expect Jared Knight, Andrew Smith and Colby Cohen, even Martin Hallinan and Adam Proctor, everyone else behind, to possibly come in the next lap or maybe at the end of this lap and serve their first pit stop of the night, because the pace that Jared Knight's been running at the front, there's definitely been no fuel saving. So I'd strongly suspect at the end of this lap, if not the next one, but possibly this lap, we'll see your race leader, the 22 of Jared Knight, come into pit lane and serve his first pit stop of the night.
I would be very surprised if anyone is able to push past this lap if those numbers are true. Especially on the first lap, you actually burn up a lot of fuel on that initial one. Jared's really been trying to break their backs early on, so he would have been burning up fuel. We saw Andrew as well fighting Colby pretty hard. So he'll peel off to the left into the lane. There we go. And we'll probably see everyone else follow him as well. So he should be able to keep that gap. What'll be interesting here is to see where Jamie Craig pops out. We saw him going for the undercut. How that will work out later in the race, I don't know. But for now, everyone is in the lane. They must be running on fumes right now.
There's a big lock up on Hallinan. The entry to pit lane. Martin Hallinan getting that one all wrong. So that's not going to help Martin Hallinan. But you said Jamie Craig on the undercut. The only thing that concerns me about...
going around.
Oh, Dimitri Agathos. He started way back in the field, which is really unlike Dimitri Agathos. He's obviously saved a bit of fuel there, so he's obviously able to get another lap out of it. But you did mention Jamie Craig there, Jordan, on the undercut. The thing I'm concerned about Jamie Craig is his damage that he did have, whether he served that damage, whether it was playing a big part or a big factor in how his Porsche 992 did drive. So we'll see how that does play out as they all go through these green flag pit stop cycles for the first time tonight.
Good jump in here, because if Dimitri pulls this off, he may be able to do this race in a 2-stop, whereas everyone else is going to need a 3rd stop.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's good. As he gets really close to the wall there, but good strategy by Dimitri Agathos. He's no mug. He knows what he's doing. So
I was going to say, he's not going slow. He's actually, the gap isn't coming down that quickly to Jared Knight. So it'll be interesting to see how he's actually saved this fuel, but whether he can save it. And yeah, as we said, it really shortens the rest of your stints up by quite a margin. It could potentially reduce the amount of times that you have to stop. And you got to wonder sometimes if it's actually worth backing off to get those extra couple of seconds and those extra couple of litres, to save a 20 or a 25 second stop. So that gap has come down now. And as I look down the order, I actually see that Jamie Craig is quite comfortably sitting in 5th place. The one thing that really worries me about him you mentioned the damage, Aiden, but for me, it's the fact that he might not even have enough fuel to get through to the end, or he might be on a slightly offset strategy. The thing is that first stop for him would have actually been quite short because he wouldn't have had to put on the same amount of fuel anyway. But later on, he's going to have to pay that invoice that he gave to himself in the first stop.
He's definitely given himself an invoice, and we see Dimitri coming into pit lane. Sorry to jump over you there, Jordan, but he's definitely going to have to pay an invoice if he does not sacrifice a little bit now. And the man we're talking about is Jamie Craig. He came in on lap number 5. I can see he came in, so he's definitely got to do at least 2 more stops. He'd have to do 3, I'd suggest, and do a little bit of I call it a dump and burn, but a little bit of a fuel stop. So Jamie Craig, not on the best fuel strategy at the moment, but anything can play out here around the mountains. So we'll see how that plays out. I tell you what, though, as we were on board with Dimitri Agathos, Paul made a good point. Dimitri is on a good fuel strategy at the moment. He was running around the 206s there. Well, he was in front of Jared Knight. And he's actually in a really good spot because Dimitri Agathos just come into pit lane lap 10, Jared Knight lap 9. So it may not mean much for you guys, the viewers here on the InterSim Esports Network, but it is actually a lot because they get about 9 laps of fuel here, what they can go around, and Dimitri Agathos could just extend it to 10. So he could possibly go through with 1 more pit stop where I can almost guarantee, depending whether Jared Knight, Andrew Smith, Colby Coleman and the likes can save some fuel, they're going to have to do a little bit of a splash and dash here, and that could put Dimitri Agathos in a really good place at the back end of this race if Dimitri can keep that car clean.
And that first pit stop... Yeah, and that was the other thing. But when you take that first pit stop, that really determines the rest of your strategy, because the longer that you can push that first one, the less that you have. Oh, and we've got a spinner. Is that Provenzali? And Budge.
Michael Budge.
Looks like the boys have actually kept it off the wall there, which is a minor miracle.
Through that point of the track, it's definitely a minor miracle.
All I saw was one just dead sideways, and I thought that, God had come to visit them.
Well, let's go back to the simracermerch.com instant replay. Have a look what happened. Michael Budge here across the top of the mountain, just going down through. Michael Budge just getting way too much rear brake there by the looks of it.
Oh, there was a bit of contact.
Wall. The 46 there, nowhere to go from Ricky Provenzali.
Are we able to see on board the 46 going over the crest? Because that was a very, very weird reaction for the car to just snap sideways like that. Usually, it almost looked like they were...
What I would suggest there, Jordan, is Michael Budge is selecting the gear a little bit too early. Oh, no, he's been collected from behind, so my apologies. It really looked like, from my viewing, that Michael Budge just selected a gear too early and just had a compression lock. But no, Ricky Provenzali there in the background did not anticipate how slow Michael Budge was going to go through that section of the track. So unfortunate for both those drivers.
You got to be careful not to do that too much. So where is he now? So he's 30 seconds behind the leader. Pretty much at that stage, that's pretty line ball for whether the leaders will actually be able to, make their pit stop, and that's always the balance. But the thing is that in that first stop, he was able to stretch it a bit longer and kind of keep up with the pace of Jared. But throughout the race, we know Jared, we know Andrew, and we know Colby. If they want to push it, then they will pretty much get that gap that they need to. Colby's probably dropped back a bit more than what he would have wanted at this stage. He's about equidistant between Andrew Smith and Jamie Craig, but that's the other surprising thing. Jamie Craig is actually making that strategy work really well. He's probably got a little bit lighter of a car than the other boys at the moment, so he's going to be wanting to push hard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Jamie Craig, who went back to about the 8th or 9th position in the first instance of this race before we went into the first green flag pit stops. He's now made his way up into the 4th position, so he's back to where he started. is the ever-consistent Jamie Craig. But back on with the number one, a Stevie Skukovic. Gotta love Stevie Skukovic. I've given him a lot of airtime here on the Indosim Esports Network, but there's something about Stevie Skukovic, guys. I just love him. I think he's a great racer and he gives it his best every night, and he's definitely quick. So, yeah, love jumping on board with Stevie Skukovic. Hopefully we can see him back in the next season next year and get amongst it again.
Well, you're going to have to tell us one day what it is you like so much about him.
It's his name, mate, Stevie Skukovic. Who can... Number one, Stevie Skukovic. So, sorry, he can't be the 96 of Jordan Mulak. Sorry, Jordan. But Stevie Skukovic, there's something about him. He started off with the white car. That's probably what it was. Now he's changed it just to mix it up on us and put a bit of orange into it as well. And he's always there or thereabouts. So Stevie Skukovic doing a great job tonight. He's up there in the 10th position, currently chasing down Dan Smith right in front of him. But he's got Tim Weston right up in behind him. So he's going to have his eyes forward and backwards at the same time as he makes his way across the mountain for the 13th time tonight.
I was going to say, we've actually got a bigger crowd at the top of the mountain right there than we did at the 1000 last year. About the kangaroos and the cops were the only things that you could see up the top, and the virtual crowd here are being treated for a very good race, and we've already seen Barney throw the yellow flag a few times. A little bit of a lock break there. I think that was for Dan Smith, and he's run it really wide. He's almost done a mustard on himself. Steve, I don't think that's the spot to do it. He might leave himself vulnerable here.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Who's hit the wall in the background?
Dimitri Agathos, the man that we thought was going to be in a position to win this race, and there's a long way to go. He's found himself into the wall through Forest Elbow, so that's not ideal for Dimitri Agathos. But I tell you what, let's pick a driver. Let's go on board for a lap or two around Bathurst, Mount Panorama Bathurst, as we are 14 laps into 30. We'll give ourselves a chance to go and catch our breath and bring you all the action to the end here for the round 10 of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. Dimitri Agathos decides it's his time to go into pit lane. So let's do it now. We're on board with Ricky Provenzali. Let's do that. Let's take you for a lap around Mount Panorama Bathurst.
Well, that was probably one of the wildest laps of Mount Panorama you were ever going to see. He and Filippetto were absolutely nose to nose or nose to tail around that whole lap. It all started at Griffin's Bend. They made a bit of contact there, and Ricky was really chasing him hard across the top of the mountain. I also saw not only he pitted, but looks like a few others have. So Dave Oliver's come in, so has Jamie Craig. Now remember, Jamie pitted early as well on the same lap as Dave. So it looks like they were only able to stretch about 9 laps out of their tank. That's bang on the money. This, as Dan Smith smacked the wall there. This is a fascinating battle pack. You have a feeling he... Oh, we got contact. Hallinan and Tim Weston. Now, hopefully Tim can gather it up. Oh, he's towed back. Unfortunate end to that great battle, and now there were 2. These boys have just got to keep it together. You know, they've now got the room behind them. They don't need to try anything silly, especially at this stage in the race. We are coming up to the halfway mark. Oh, as Dan Smith runs a bit hot. And so did Steve. He couldn't capitalise on it. He ran too hard into the elbow and he just could not capitalise on that mistake by Dan. You're looking at Chris Stark chasing down Lindsay Kearns and with Aidan Greck behind them. And it looks like Steve Skukovic has finally got that spot off Dan Smith. That's been a really close-fought battle. I think that Dan might just understand that he has to concede the spot there. The problem is if you do that, if you do show the nose into Forest Elbow, as we've just seen, you do lose quite a bit of time. You kind of compromise your run on the way out, and there's no real reason to do that. You know, if you're quicker than a guy going to that spot, you're going to make the move on him early. As we see Chris Stark here lining up a move on Lindsay Kearns, going to the inside of the kink at the chase, and that is ballsy going too wide through there. Is he going to try and do it around the outside? No, he runs it too wide into the grass, and now he possibly might even lose a spot behind him as well as he comes into the pits.
Yeah, I think that might have been Bradley Carr, I think.
Possibly, it did look like Carr's car.
No, he's not even on the track, so some of the similar livery there, but yeah, I think it was a lapped car anyway.
Well, I'm back, gentlemen, so you don't need to miss me too much. I'm back, so my dulcet tones are here back on the Intersim Esports Network, whether you like
Fantastic.
it or not.
Just as we're seeing, I think in 4th place, we've actually got a bit of a battle going between Anthony Holm and Adam Proctor. This is within half a second of each other. I think this might well be the spot or the race for this spot. Who is going to be on the edge of the top 5? They've been able to put a gap on Hallinan, but...
Yeah, this is a spicy little battle. I reckon Adam Proctor
has been all right.
Probably... Yeah, it has been. Anthony Holm doing a great job all series, and he's backed it up tonight again around Mount Panorama Bathurst. He's doing a great job at the moment, holding down the 4th spot over Adam Proctor. But we do go back to Michael Budge. Now we're on Garth Duffy. Oh, Garth Duffy's had an incident through the cutting. So we might have to go back to the... Oh, as he's going to have a second incident. Looks like he's going to probably maybe eject the 71 car there. But we'll go back to the simracermerch.com instant replay and see what happened here to Garth Duffy up through the cutting. So he's making his way there. Yeah.
Oh, he wing-cupped it.
He's wing-cupped it. Didn't quite catch the wall as early as Jamie Wing-Cup did. But
that's a big hit as well.
That's not going to help the 71 there of Garth Duffy. That's going to have a lot of damage up the right-hand side of that race car, guys.
Yeah, you don't need that at this stage in the race. As we said, you know, we're just going into the second half now. So realistically, if you want to treat it like one, this is now the sprint home, even though, you know, there's still just over 20 minutes of racing left. I think the battle at the front is pretty well locked away. For some reason, it looks like Andrew Smith's lost a bit of time to Jared Knight, but Colby's actually gained on him a bit. You know, there's still a bit of a gap there, but that gap was a lot wider before, and Colby also looks like he's gained ground over Jared as well. So
The thing, Jordan, I'm interested to look at now, and sorry to jump in, mate, but
No,
the thing
absolutely.
I'm interested to look at now is Jared Knight and Andrew Smith, Colby Cohen, Adam Proctor, Martin Hallen and Dan Smith, Stevie Skukovic currently sitting in the 7th position, came through pit lane on lap 9. So we're now lap 17. So if my maths is correct, and I only went to grade 12, so I don't know if that's correct or not, but they will have to come through pit lane possibly next time across the strike, which will put them lap 18. But that doesn't put them clear
No.
to the end on fuel. So
That
let's have a
doesn't.
look at other drivers. So Jamie Craig sitting back there in the 8th position at the moment, last come through pit lane on lap 14. It was his second time through pit lane. If we put 9 laps onto that, that is going to put him into lap 23.
Yeah.
So,
So Jamie's going to have a longer third stop, which is the downside for him. So even though he was able to gain a lot of positions having that short early one, that invoice is asking to be paid. So if the race was shortened a bit, if we had a safety car, that could actually potentially play back into his hands, because then you essentially get the free kick. But at the moment, I just don't see it happening. He's probably going to lose. He's already had his spot, as I think Adam Proctor's. Sorry, that's Adam Proctor in the pits. I thought he might have had an issue. It's funny how you just see the names drop down the order and just panic that something's happened.
I'm going to have to cut you both off here, though, because if my maths are correct, Jamie Craig's got one more stop, whereas everyone else is going to have 2.
From what I look at now too, yep, you're exactly right.
Yeah,
I believe he would. Yeah, but
Jamie ain't. Yeah, but it's going to need a longer individual stop, and because of how far back he is, I don't think that he's a contender for the lead, but potentially for top 5, he'll definitely be in that box, because I think that's around where he pitted from, and with the pace that we've seen from him as well, he could well and truly play himself into that battle.
I reckon Jamie Craig's looking at a podium here, to be honest. My thoughts. So,
but the thing, Paul, you're exactly right with Jamie Craig. I think he is definitely looking for a podium tonight. I think he's on track if he can keep it all clean. But the one that's a little bit hard done by at the moment, in my own opinion, is Dimitri Agathos. Because if he didn't have that incident and collect the wall and have to come through pit lane early, he was on a beautiful fuel strategy. But we do see the leaders now come into pit lane, Jared Knight, Andrew Smith and Colby Cohen. So they're into pit lane, excuse me, now 19 of 30. As this is a big battle. Jamie Craig there and Dan Smith. Dan Smith thinking the better of it there down through the chase. So Jared Knight, Colby Cohen, Andrew Smith, and now Martin Hallinan coming into pit lane. Dan Smith now coming into pit lane as well, as Jamie Craig keeps it out for another lap. These guys are going to have to do a splash and dash. If we can see what we can see at the moment on our live timing, they're going to have to do a splash and dash. So Anthony Holm, have a look at him. Anthony Holm, even Adam Proctor, with their times, they last come through pit lane only a lap or 2 ago. So their final pit stop's going to be a lot shorter than the guys at front. So we'll see how that plays out. I could be reading this completely wrong, and I'm pretty simple here on the Indosim Esports Network, but from what I'm seeing, it could be. But at the moment, Jared Knight's doing a great job at the front. He's extended that lead now out to 6.6 seconds. So someone's going to have to do something absolutely drastically different to try and get the 22 of Jared Knight tonight around Mount Panorama, because he has absolutely driven a flawless race.
He has. Yeah, this is it's one of those drives where you think if Jared had competed in more rounds, he could have been vying for the championship. You know, he certainly gave me a run for.
Oh, you're being modest, mate. You're being modest.
No. He put me to shame a few times, and when he did race, his consistency was right up there. So he's one of those great drivers who, you know, if you remove a few things from the equation, like, you know, we look at this year with Van Gisbergen in the Supercars Championship. Everyone was saying, "Oh, it's just because McLaughlin's gone." It's like, no, the talent was certainly there to begin with. It's not just because someone isn't around. But no, Jared is a great gun driver, and he looks to have this one in the bag. It's just going to be those minor placings that I just don't know how it's gonna pan out. So I think if we want to sum it up for the viewers, so we believe that Knight, Smith, Colby Cohen, Anthony Holm, Adam Proctor, and Martin Hallinan. So they will all need one more stop, but it's going to be a very short stop. Meanwhile, Jamie Craig is going to have to put on a lot more fuel in his last stop. Probably not brim the tank, but he's going to have to put on a fair bit more than them. So depending on where the splits are and where he is in comparison to the 96, that could well and truly be a close battle towards the end. Because if you think about it, the 96 is going to be coming out of the pit lane with about 2 or 3 laps to go with a bit more fuel on board. So whereas Jamie will already be up to speed, he'll be hitting his marks. So I don't know. Maybe I'm fantasising about something that's not going to happen, but I think that for 4th place, that's going to be a very, very spicy battle.
Well, I tell you what, I'd love to bring Jared Knight up into the broadcast booth. We can't do that to him around Bathurst because it is all happening. But I'd love to hear from him right now, but we can't do that. But back to Adam Proctor at the moment in the 6th position. He's all over the back of Anthony Holm. This is the battle that's continued to rage here over the last 5 or 6 laps, albeit race long. These guys have been having a ding-dong battle, and Anthony Holm still getting the better over Adam Proctor as they make their way down through the dipper one more time. It's been a great drive by both these drivers.
It really has. This has been a great, big lock up there. That's going to punish the tyres a bit later on. I reckon that the battle between the 96 and the 98 might even be a bit more enthralling than the battle with the 39, because it looks like Jamie's absolutely legged it up the road.
Yeah, Jamie's now another 4 seconds up the road from this battle of Anthony Holm and Adam Proctor. So Jamie Craig's pretty much got that battle done. But like you said, he's going to have to be stationary in pit lane for a little bit longer. So this battle for 5th and 6th at the moment could become a battle for 4th and 5th. So we'll see what happens now, whether these guys play it nice and gentle. But you can see there Anthony Holm and Adam Proctor. Adam Proctor outbraking himself a little bit there into the final turn as they make their way down into turn 1 here around Mount Panorama and up Mountain Straight one more time. He's not probably going to be close enough to Anthony Holm to be able to make a dive for the position up into turn number 2 this time around. He's getting a little bit of a draft. We'll see whether he wants to make the move. No, he'll think better of it as they make their way around this corner this time around. So, I don't know, Adam Proctor, he looks the quicker car at the moment than Anthony Holm. He's just sort of playing it a little bit safe there in behind and waiting for Anthony Holm to make a mistake.
Depends where Anthony's speed is, though, because if he's got it up and down the straights in the positions where you can make a pass, you might be able to defend. Because if Adam's quick across the top, that's all well and good, but you can't really do anything with it unless you go for a banzai kind of move down at the forest elbow, which just isn't on. Sometimes it's a lot more risk to do that than what the reward is. But these guys are absolutely going for it. You can see the attitude of the cars. They're both trying to push it. At the end of the day, this is for a top 5 position, and this is a very, very important point of the race where they're just about to get into the last fuel stops in the last fuel cycle. If I was Proctor, I'd try and get nice and close to Holm, but also try and back off, save a bit of fuel, try and undercut him, stay under that wing and possibly get the jump out of the pits.
Yeah, but like we've seen tonight as well, it's all that tricky to be able to make yourself down into pit lane and do that successfully, as we saw that Proctor ranged right up under the brakes there on Anthony Holm, and now they make their way into the final turn here at Mount Panorama and does the same thing. So He's got a lot better under brakes there in the 98 car. He seems a little bit more stable than Anthony Holm there under brakes, and he does that again into turn number 1. But can he get that run off the corner? As much as he's better on the braking into the corner at the moment, can he get the run and to be able to make that position? So they make their way up Mountain Straight once again. He's just a little bit too far behind to be able to make the attack down into the corner this time around. And it looks like he's a little bit better on braking, as I said there, Jordan, but he's just not quite close enough to make that move done.
I think Dimitri had to take a stop a bit earlier, though. Because remember, he got damage after smacking the wall.
Yeah, so Dimitri's in pits, and sometimes Jordan Paul's actually muted sometimes on the broadcast. So
Sorry. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm pulling back the curtain so to see. I'm breaking the fourth wall here. So we've got a little monkey in the desk. He's called Paul, and he occasionally hands us nice little bits of information. I give him a little banana and say thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. We'll have to start calling you Donkey Kong, mate.
Yeah.
But
I'll live with that one. I'll mute myself. I'll take Donkey Kong. I don't mind that.
You'll take Donkey Kong. Yeah, but Dimitri Agathos coming through pit lane there.
Maybe
so maybe
King Kong. That's better.
King Kong.
King Kong. Come on!
Yeah,
You're giving yourself a nickname there, mate. You're not ScoMo. That's not on. You can't give yourself a nickname.
Hey, mate, I'd rather King Kong than bloody Meatball. So
yeah, true. But you did give that to yourself, but unintentionally. So
might have to hit you up for some driving training, mate, just to try and take that meatball away from me. But at the moment,
Paul's just made a very good point that Colby's actually gotten past Andrew. That's a change for second place. So I don't know if we've had an incident or something there, but that's pretty big. I don't know if Andrew's trying to save fuel or what the go is here, but for second place, that's pretty large. And look who is right behind them on the straight. Jamie Craig is absolutely homing in on them. This could be a battle for third place.
Jamie Craig has to, because he's on an alternate strategy fuel-wise, so he has to do lap times at the moment. That's his only way to be able to get up there and be able to try and get into position to podium this race. He needs to be quick, and he needs to do constant quick lap times. But it is good to see Colby Cohen making the move there on Andrew Smith. We'll go back to the simracermerch.com instant replay and see how this move was done. So Colby Cohen, as they make their way down the main straight, you can see Andrew Smith right in front of him, down in through turn number 1. So that's where the move was done. Andrew Smith got in way too hot. He could not get that car rotated through the apex, and that allowed Colby Cohen to take the second position of this race.
Not over. It's not over.
No, it's not over. It's never over. But they've got another car here in this little battle as well. So how's this going to play out as they make their way down the Conrod Straight? Andrew Smith's going to make a move as Ashley Kersey gets out of the way. He's going to be on the wrong side of the road. Colby Cohen's going to cover him off. And Andrew Smith can't get the job done. Can he position his car into the right position for Hell Corner? No, he can't. He's not going to be close enough. Yeah. Andrew Smith looks like he's got a little bit of damage there on the front, as if I'm not standard correctly. But Jamie Craig's just come into pit lane, so he's decided that's his time to do his final pit stop. So he'll be right to go to the end. And now he's going to have to do his quickest 6 laps around Mount Panorama Bathurst to get his best result he can here tonight. At the moment, though, it's all definitely Jamie Craig at the front, and it's his race to lose.
But what'll be very interesting here is seeing where Jamie Craig pops out, because we know that he's not going to pop out with people that he's racing against, but he might be held up. He absolutely had the momentum over these two guys. If he had to pit because his fuel said that he had to now, that's understandable. I personally would have probably gone for an extra lap to try and just reel them in, minimise that damage, because afterwards he could get stuck behind someone else. Oh, this is so close over the top. You can tell Andrew Smith would have been fired up by that mistake. He wants to get this spot back.
Oh, as
He's
he
going to
just
try and
pokes the
skyline.
nose
There's no
down.
space there.
No, there's no space there, and that is not the place to make the move. And good that he thinks better of it as they make their way down the hill, down into the dipper one more time. But I tell you what, Andrew Smith's probably going to try and make the move as they make their way down into Conrod Straight. So let's jump on board with Andrew Smith, the 99. Oh, has hit the wall. So no, let's not jump on board because he's not going to be able to make the move done. Colby Cohen trying to zigzag down Conrod Straight, try and get him out of the draft. Little does Colby know that Andrew Smith's hit the wall, so that's pretty much put pay to his straight line speed. But I tell you what racing that was across the top of the mountain here.
That was pretty fantastic. That was absolutely nose to tail. And you know how I was saying before how you don't get aero wash? You would in that case. When you're right up the exhaust of the preceding car, you will get some aero wash behind them. Whether Andrew can reel that back in as we look here, this is still going between the 96 and the 98. So this is ultimately going to be the battle for fifth place.
And Anthony Holmes jumped in the pit lane. But I tell you what, this has got to be an hour of racing, and I do a lot of iRacing as you guys do. They would be sweating bullets because to have someone like Adam Proctor, Anthony Holmes, someone behind you the whole race, around Mount Panorama where it's hard enough to do a clean lap when you've got no one behind you, to be able to do that here for nearly an hour and to still have that battle raging with no incidents, that is amazing driving by all the drivers.
That is, and you know, to be this consistent over such a long race, you know, especially in that top pack, we've maybe only seen one or two pretty minor mistakes. This is an absolutely ripper race, and it's all coming to a crescendo in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to the final pit stops, and we're pretty much through that now. So, in saying that, though, the likes of Jared Knight, Colby Cohen, Andrew Smith, who just gotten off track, Adam Proctor, Martin Hallinan, they're all going to have to come into pit lane again. So at the moment, the best of those is Jamie Craig that we said in the 6th position. So now he needs to just do qualifying laps. That's the best he can do, is just do qualifying laps and see where he ends up, as opposed to the 5 drivers in front of him at the moment.
But look at this, that's a clear track in front of him. That is absolutely perfect. If I was him, I'd just keep a delta bar up on the dash and keep it as green as possible, or as close to 0-0 as possible. Having that delta bar is a massive, it's like a rabbit to greyhounds. You know, if it gives you something to chase, it can be a really good thing. And he's just hitting his lines right at the moment. So I hope I don't put the commentator's curse on him, but he's absolutely gaining on the cars in front. So this is a ripper strategy.
I'm glad you said that, because I usually put the commentator's curse on. But with that Delta thing, it usually hinders me because I keep looking at it and I'm up 2 tenths or whatever, and then I try too hard and then I ruin it. But that comes down to the difference of driver and me, as everyone here in the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. And
all right, I'm out.
Yeah, there you go. There's the commentator's curse. Thank you so much, Jordan. You make me feel so much better about myself. Thank you, mate. But Jamie Craig's still doing a good job, mate. I'd be quite happy to do that. But,
while we got Jordan Mueller in here, so Jordan, last week Aiden here threw your teammate Matt Feldman under the bus, saying he was going to put the curse on him for race 3.
Don't talk trash about Hobo Jesus. I love my buddy. So, what did you say wrong about my friend?
I didn't say anything. I like Matty Feldman. I thought he was going good. I just said that anytime I say anything about any driver, they end up putting it in the wall, and that's exactly what we've seen in everything I've commentated this year. So why not be anything different?
Well, obviously, you weren't talking about me enough then this season, because that didn't turn out too badly. But
that's actually wrong, because you're spoken about all the time. But
maybe I just had my fingers in my ears. I don't know.
Possibly.
But it looks like we've got the top 5. No, sorry, I think I'm reading the leaderboard incorrectly. I thought they were in the pits, but because they gone red, but it might be because they're a lap up.
Yeah, and this is what does it to me every night when I broadcast here on the Instant Esports Network. I always blame the live timing, and there we go. Jordan Mulak's just experienced the same thing that I do.
It's not the live timing, it's just you're reading it wrong, see? So you can see that we're on board with Brett Smith, and if you look, that Brett Smith there is, well, almost a lap down by the look of it.
By the look of it.
We've got Andrew Smith in the pit lane. This is going to be crucial. See, this one I know he's in the pit lane.
Yeah, he's got it right.
How good.
Andrew Smith in the pit lane. But good to give each other a bit of banter here. But I tell you what, it's all coming down to it now. We're 27 into 30. Get your voices ready, gentlemen, because we're about to claim or about to announce the winner for round number 10 of the Blendline TV ProCar GT E-Championship. Will it be Jared Knight leading the way at the end of this one with 3 laps to go? Will it be Colby Cohen? Will it be Martin Hallinan? Will it be Jamie Craig? Jamie Craig's got past as well. So now Jamie Craig's made the job on Andrew Smith. Jamie Craig's good to go to the end. Can he get up to Colby Cohen? Jared Knight at the moment sitting in a good spot, but the thing is Jamie Craig is good to go to the end. Jared Knight, Colby Cohen, and Martin Hallinan still need to pit in this one. So I think Jamie Craig's got this one sorted on strategy, guys. I think, Paul, you got this one right.
Well, no one believed me, and here I am just laughing at you now.
It's because I'm a hard-headed racer, mate, and I don't want to believe that someone else's voodoo strategy will actually work. Here we go.
Well, Jamie Craig's definitely got this one sorted. He's 28 seconds behind Martin Hallinan at the moment, but with his transition through pit lane, he's going to get that one done. 3 seconds. 28 seconds, Martin Hallinan to Colby Cohen. Oh, no, he's gone. There's the commentator's curse if you've ever seen one. That's all on Jordan Muller.
Nah, it's the both of you. I'm throwing both of you into that one. You're both... 2 people, and no faith in Jamie there, and you've both
it's all
given
Jordan
him a bit
Miller.
of an upsetting there.
It's all Jordan.
We're going to need a bigger bus.
Looks like we're going to need a bigger bus.
Yeah. So Jared Knight and Colby are both in the pits. So now this will be telling. I'll tell you what. I'll just tell you a very quick story. A couple of weeks ago in another league, I had a crash. I think there was 3 or 4 laps to go. Someone hit me, and I got steering damage. Even though I was meatballed, I could still stay out for 4 laps until the end of the race. So hopefully, there we go. Jamie's committing to it. Even if he's got a meatball flag at the moment, he is staying out. Jared Knight is leaving the pits. He's back on the track. Now, where is Colby? Has that held up Andrew Smith? I think it has.
So we'll see how they end up as they come out of the first turn. So you can see Colby's got a gap just up into the foreground there.
Oh, that's a brilliant strategy by Colby.
Yeah, good strategy by Colby, but even better at the moment by Jared Knight. He's got this one all in the bag at the moment, 8.7. If Jamie Craig didn't have that incident, it definitely would have been a different story here tonight. But Jamie Craig, 8.6 seconds down the road from Colby Cohen. Andrew Smith back there in third. So I tell you what, this was something that was ranging to be an absolute great battle between Jared Knight, Colby Cohen and Jamie Craig, but that little incident by Jamie Craig put pay to that one as we're 28 now into 30. But I tell you what, boys, what a race it's been. Mount Panorama never disappoints. It absolutely never disappoints, and that's exactly what we're seeing here tonight for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship.
Absolutely. It's been a class drive by all. We've only seen a handful of incidents, and even then they happened when everyone was packed really nice and tight together, which is what you expect. Jared Knight, what an absolute kind of champion's drive. Next season he will be in the box seat for that title. But
he'll have to battle me. He'll have to battle me. I'll be in 24th, but he'll have to battle me. But anyway,
when he comes around to lap you, then he'll have to battle you to get past.
Exactly right. Yep.
I just wanted to try and put a full stop on the 96th of Anthony Holm. It looks like he dropped way back. He was initially in the battle for 5th place, and now he's very far down. Oh, and Bree Smith. Don't tell me.
Jamie Craig's around again.
And there is going to be Mr. Proctor sliding through for 4th place.
And Jamie Craig's coming to pit lane. He has to serve that penalty. So that's the race that could have been for Jamie Craig as we're back at the simracermerch.com instant replays. He makes his way down through the chase.
He's just lost it. Oh, no. I think
caught too much curb on the gas too early and just rotated the car by the looks of it.
And then I think we've got a back marker coming through who was going to tag him. Nope, not quite, but that's very strange that he went into the pits immediately after that. Usually you just keep pushing, but
I think that could have just been his night over. He thought it was something that could have been, and then it just didn't end up being, and he thought, nah, I'm just going to go serve that penalty. But let's not take anything away from Jared Knight at the moment. 29 laps into 30. This man has had an absolute stellar drive. Started off the pole position. He's led 29 of 30 and will lead the whole way. He's got 9 seconds on Colby Cohen. Let's not take anything away from Colby as well. He's had a great night behind the wheel. But Jared Knight has absolutely set this field alight and led from start to finish around one of the most trickiest tracks around Australia, and he's done a great job. We'll go to the simracermerch.com instant replay as Andrew Smith had a big lick over the top of the mountain, and that's not going to help Andrew Smith, one of the big players, up into the top 3, and he's had a second lick, third lick on the wall down the mountain. He's actually put it on his lid.
He's turtled it. No way.
He's just decided to do a bit of turtle action, as you say there, Jordan. So
that's really unfortunate. That's so unfortunate because, yeah, look, Adam Proctor's now up to 3rd. You know, ifs, buts and maybes, but, you know, if Jamie hadn't have come in to serve that penalty and this, that and the other, you know, he could have easily been in 3rd place. That's just massively unfortunate.
But racing's all about what ifs there, Jordan, and that's exactly what it is. But we are white flag at the moment. We're on board with Jared Knight. It's been a drive of all proportions. Nothing that anyone can take away from Jared Knight tonight in the 22. He was quick enough in practice, quick enough in qualifying, put it off the pole position and led the way here around Mount Panorama Bathurst for 30 laps. He's got one more lap to navigate here in the 22, and he'll come away with the win for round number 10. Of course, we have Jordan Mulaki, championship winner, here in the booth, but let's take nothing away from Jared Knight and let's give him everything in the sun here on the Intersim Esports Network as he makes his way down through the S's into the dipper around Mount Panorama for the last time tonight. He'll make his way down into Forest Elbow, the trickiest corner. He's just got to get this one done. Gets this one done, and he'll make his way onto Conrod Straight. So he'll select the gears. He'll look in the mirror. He'll realise he's got 10 seconds the better of Colby Cohen, and he's got this job done as he makes his way down Conrod Straight for the last time tonight. No headlight flashes. He's not excited yet because he knows it's Bathurst and anything can happen. So last final heavy braking point of the night. Can he get the job done? He does that very nicely. Selects 3rd and 4th gear, up the gears, down into Hell Corner for the last time tonight. And Jared Knight's going to get the job done. Makes his way through Hell Corner, and your winner tonight. What a drive. Jared Knight with an absolute astounding drive, 9.3 seconds up the road from Colby Cohen, guys. I'll let you call the rest of the field through, but what a great drive by Jared Knight.
And a fantastic job from Colby Cohen to only come second after one of the most clinical drives that we've seen of the season out front. That is such an impressive result for the young man. Adam Proctor almost did a Bradbury, but that would be unfair to him because he had pace all night long. He comes home to take the final step on the dais. What a great drive. And Martin Hallinan, all things considered, should come home in 4th place. That is quite a solid night for him. He was caught up in a few incidents early on, but that is a fantastic finish. And look at this. ever the consistent finisher, Dave Oliver, rounds out the top 5.
Do Photo rounds it out
Photo.
in P5th. P5th, is that even a word? P5.
Skukovic in 6.
Stevie Skukovic, our man in P6. There we go. Stevie Skukovic is our man for next season. But what a drive by everyone involved, and how good was it to bring all the action here on the InterSim Esports Network. It definitely didn't disappoint around Mount Panorama Bathurst as all the drivers just continue to make their way around and finish. Dimitri Agathos with a result that could have been tonight. He was on a good pit strategy, as was Jamie Craig. Jamie Craig's going to be down in the lesser positions at the moment, but it was a night that could have been for a lot of drivers. But I tell you what, Jared Knight definitely set the pace at the front, and he is a deserved winner here for the final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship.
That was just such a clinical drive from Jared right from the get-go. He was never really challenged. He got the whole shot into turn 1 and said, "See you later. I want no part of this." I don't think I've seen a drive like that for such a long time. You know, this has been such a close-fought championship. To have someone win by 10 seconds, it just seems like an oddity. It doesn't seem real. So that was a fantastic drive by him. As I said throughout the broadcast, you know.
There's a big accident.
That's not finished the race yet.
That's in the pit lane by the look of it.
No, that's at the exit of the chase.
Oh, no. Tafanos Turkman and Chris Stark.
Or, hang on, had they finished the race, though?
Oh, what's going on here?
Andrew Smitty. Oh. He's just wanted to finish the race. He's crab crawling all the way down Conrod.
What's going on here?
Hang on, so, sorry, the checkered flag had come out for Chris Stark, so I'm not sure how.
He might have been a lap down.
Well, he was a lap down, but he wouldn't have gotten back to that point on the track that quickly. I don't know. I can't help anymore. The season's over. We need to have a few beers. Who cares?
There's some big jumps coming.
Here it is. Here's the jump.
Hey. Oh.
He could have at least held it.
This reminds me of, what is it?
Lawn bowls?
No, Wario or whatever, where they're on their shells and spinning around and...
Oh, yeah. I remember a game on, what was it, Nintendo or something? What's the one where they have the shells and stuff and they spin around? As there's cars going everywhere. Yeah, Mario Kart. As there's cars going everywhere. Hope they're wearing hands devices because that's going to hurt. But they're all obviously celebrating what was a sensational season here for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship, whether you call that celebration or just whatever, but that is great. And good to see all the drivers having a bit of fun. We've got a driver trying to do the best Michael Budge impersonation going backwards into pit lane. He can't get that one done as he's going to end up in the sand trap.
Nope, he's going to end up wedged in the tyres.
No, he's going to get around. He's going to get around. Oh, do photo. You've even got into the do photo thing here. Yeah.
There we go.
You've got into the do photo thing here, Jordan. So we're going to have to call do photo for the next season as well. So
if Dave does come to Bathurst this weekend, which I'm not sure if he is, but if I see him, then I'll make sure that I said hi to do photo.
Mate, you need to get T's made do photo and do a selfie and post it on our InterSim Esports Network Facebook page, mate, because that would absolutely make it. So be sure if you do see Budgie down there at Bathurst, get a do photo. Even if you just have a photo between yourselves and put do photo, hashtag InterSim Esports Network, that'd be great. But we'll go through your results here for round number 10. It was Jared Knight with an absolute masterclass at the front there, winning by 9.266 seconds over Colby Cohen. Adam Proctor in third place. Martin Hallinan come home fourth. Dave Oliver in fifth. Stevie Skukovic in sixth. Dan Smith in 7th. Dion Jarvis came home in 8th. Anthony Holm in 9th. Russ Green rounds out your 10. Dimitri Agathos with a race that could have been in 11th. Nico Filippetto in 12th. Michael Budge in 13th. Brett Smith 14th. Adrian Gretsch 15th. Andrew Smith comes home in 16th. That's another race that could have been. Tafen Oz Turkman in 18th as we roll across the page. 19th was Ashley Kersey as Chris Stark was in 17th. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Trav Mason 20th, Lindsay Kearns 21st, Tim Weston 22nd, Jamie Craig in 23rd, Brian Bullock 24th, Dan Green 25th, Wayne Visser in 26th, Garth Duffy home in 27th, and Ricky Provenzali there in the 28th position, 14 laps down. So we'll just go up and see if we can bring the other drivers down into the broadcast booth. We brought Colby down at the moment. The only other one we need to bring up is Adam Proctor. And we've got Adam Proctor up into the booth. But we've got the top 3 drivers here for the round 10 of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship up into the booth. We'll start off with your P3 tonight. Adam Proctor, mate, 30 laps around Mount Panorama Bathurst. It was a night that definitely didn't disappoint here on the InterSim Esports Network, but you've got to be happy with your P3.
Yeah, not bad. Good way to end the season with the fellas. It was pretty lonely. Jared and Colby were pretty quick and they were gone, but yeah, good race, good season.
Well, mate, you kept yourself out of trouble. We saw Dimitri Agathos. He was on a good strategy there, and then he got into the wall, and that didn't play a good part into, obviously, his result at the end of the race. But you did a good job. You started out at P6 tonight, got up 3 spots, got on to the bottom end of the podium. What was your night about? Just keeping it clean and trying to be up there and see how you ended up at the end?
Yeah, I try to do the sort of save fuel for the first stint and a half, and then realised there's no way I was going to make it on the 2 stops. So I just went for it, and yeah, just sort of ended up there and had a pretty good battle with Anthony for a while. And yeah, I think he had a slow stop, so I was able to jump him in that last stop, and lonely race brought it home.
Well, it's good to see you up here on the InterSim Esports Network, mate. It's been a little bit of time between drinks to have a chat to you here in the broadcast booth, but we do have a special guest up here in the broadcast booth, Jordan Mulak. We'll jump it across to Jordan. Jordan, your championship winner, and he was nice enough to be up here in the broadcast booth bringing us all the action tonight with myself and Paul. Jordan, have a chat to Adam and... have a chat to him about how his race went.
Yeah, Adam, congratulations on P3, mate. That seemed like a really solid drive. We saw a lot going on throughout the race, and it seemed like you were always around the incidents, but never involved in them. So what was it like, pretty much making your way through consistently? And you seem to be one of the very few drivers that was kind of keeping their head out there.
Yeah, just after the last few races, had plenty of incidents, so luck met my way, I guess. But yeah, look, I just try to stay out of trouble. The guys get pretty racy at the start, as you know, and yeah, just try and stay out of trouble and try to get to the end, because there's no point burning the wall in the first stint and trying to fight back.
Well, we saw some of your rivals do that throughout certainly the start of the race, but towards the end there were a few people who surprisingly fell by the wayside. Did you ever think that the P3 was within reach, especially after qualifying or throughout the race when you were fighting for P5 and then you suddenly end up on the podium?
No, I thought a P4 was probably our best bet. I did see Andrew was on his lid at Skyline with about 2 to go, so I sort of got gifted that, I guess. But we had good pace, had practice speed was good, just didn't qualify well enough and just got caught up in the first stint in the traffic and yeah, just lost too much time. But yeah, look, third's good, can't complain.
It's been an up and down season for you, and we talked before the broadcast started that really the battle for second and third in the championship really chopped and changed all through the season. And it was mainly a point of consistency. at the end of this season, are you happy to see the back of the 992 Cup car, or do you think you're just gelling with it now and would like to go around again?
Yeah, no, just starting to get my head around the car now. The last sort of 3 or 4 rounds have been quite good. So yeah, I think wouldn't mind going again with it. But all these guys are quick, so it doesn't really matter what we drive. We all end up pretty close at the end of the season, so it's all good.
No, great drive tonight, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, well, Adam Proctor, mate, P3 tonight, and what was absolutely one of the most grueling races you can have. It's only 30 laps around Mount Panorama, but it's 30 laps of concentration, nearly an hour and a half of driving. So congratulations on your P3. Obviously, a big shout out to everyone involved with your P3 tonight, mate.
Yeah, no, just thanks to all the guys that turn up each week and all the guys behind the scenes that put this on for us each week. So really appreciate it. Can't do it without them. And yeah, it's been a good time. Thanks, guys.
No worries at all. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. On your P3 tonight, the 98 of Adam Proctor here for the 10th and final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship from Mount Panorama Bathurst. But it moves us straight across to your second place getter tonight, Colby Cohen. Colby, mate, we've had a couple of discussions during the year about me not pronouncing your name correctly, and I'm probably quite sure I'm still not doing that. But, mate, spoken to you a couple of times up here in the broadcast booth this season, but I tell you what, mate, tonight, Jared Knight was a class above, but strategy, everything, you definitely had that 25 car on rails, and great job there for P2.
Yeah, thanks for that. That was hard work, and yeah, congrats to Jared. He was a bit of a freak, to be honest. So it would have been interesting if Jared, first of all, Jared, Jordan, thanks for not showing up. Made it a little bit easier, but yeah, it would have been interesting if Jordan was here to have a go with Jared. That would have been good to watch. But yeah, that was hard work.
Yeah, it was hard work, but you got the strategy right. You pitted on the same lap as Jared Knight, obviously 27. So you just had a splash and dash to the end. We did have the likes of Dimitri Agathos. So we're off strategy a little bit, and it looked like they were going to be in a good position to possibly challenge for the lead, if not a podium position. But good job nonetheless, mate. You covered off on the leader, and you just sat on the strategy that what he did, and you come home with a P2, mate, and especially around one of the most trickiest tracks around Australia after 9 rounds of grueling racing here on the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. You have to be absolutely stoked to finish off the 10-round series with a P2.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really happy with that. I mean, I stuffed the start up a little bit and kind of dropped back and got caught up with, not traffic, but just got caught up a little bit. And then I could see Andrew Smith was quite quick, so I thought I was happy to let him go and sit in behind him and perhaps save some fuel and tyres. But you make one little mistake, and the next thing you know, you're falling behind and behind. So next thing you know, you're back into it again, trying to catch back up. So there wasn't much of a strategy, if I'm honest. It was just kind of keep it out of the fence and go as fast as you could. But yeah, it's good.
Well,
fun.
I can say to you, mate, that coming home second tonight, you have now clinched second place here for the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. So well done.
Yeah, cheers, appreciate it. I couldn't tell you how, because it feels like I had a pretty bad result at most rounds at some stage, but obviously must have been a bit more consistent with my better results, I guess, than maybe some others. But yeah, it was a good fun year, and thanks to all the guys at Blendline TV and AWS and whatnot who put it all on, and Carmel Australia. Yeah, really appreciate it. It was good fun.
Well, if Do Photo had have done double points and you would have won tonight, you would have won the championship.
Yeah, I tried slipping him a 50 through the week, but
I slipped him 100, so don't worry.
Well, a green one was better than a yellow one. But yeah. Colby, we're going to see you doing some more oval stuff. Obviously, we run with you in some oval stuff. Paul and I love a bit of road stuff. We just don't get the chance to do it as often as we like. What's your plans going into 2022 for your racing season?
Yeah, no idea at the moment, to be honest. We'll keep obviously doing the ovals and whatnot, see what the Blendline guys do, and then in real life, we'll keep running the Mustang that we've got and have fun with that. So, yeah.
No worries at all. Well, we look forward to seeing you, whatever you do through the iRacing platform, because you're sensational, whatever you do, and we look forward to covering all the action. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Your second place getter, the 25 of Colby Cohen. Mate, I know you just did a quick shout out, but anyone else you want to thank quickly before we head across to Adam? Jared, sorry.
No, just again, Carb Mods Australia, and just a big thanks to all the guys behind the scenes that put this on, and you guys in particular for broadcasting. So yeah, it's been great. Cheers.
No, congratulations, Colby. That's a really solid season from you, and yeah, you're always a threat in the races, mate. So don't talk down yourself. You know, you're a very consistent runner. That's a great result for you. You know, to have that level of consistency to come home in P2 against a really strong field, you did really well, mate. So don't talk down on yourself. You did good.
Appreciate it, mate. Cheers.
No worries. Well, there's a little bit of friendly rivalry there from your championship winner, Jordan Mulak and Colby Cohen, and that's how good this series are, mate. They've always got a lot of respect for each other, and Colby Cohen coming home with your P2 in the championship tonight, and also P2 here around Mount Panorama for round 10 of the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship. But we've got to go straight across to your winner, Jared Knight, in the 22. Jared Knight, mate, that was an absolute epic drive, faultless, quickest through practice, quickest through qualifying, led from the start, pretty much zero incidents, and just absolutely schooled the rest of the field to win by nearly 10 seconds here around Mount Panorama Bathurst.
It certainly didn't feel that easy. During the race, it's especially with these longer ones, it's you kind of don't know what strategy everyone's running, and I was a little bit nervous when I saw Dimitri pop out in front of me after that first stop. So felt like I needed to fuel save a bit, just make my second stop a little bit shorter. But I heard you mention that he walled it maybe in his second stint, and that sort of put the end to that. And it was just sort of keeping my head down and not making any mistakes, because there was a couple of fast guys behind me.
So are you one of these drivers that listen to the broadcast while you race?
No, certainly not. No, I do watch after, but definitely don't watch after.
I was going to say, you heard that and what we said afterwards, because sometimes we broadcast and people say, we're listening during the race. I'm like, I struggle to keep it on the track when I've got nothing in my ears, let alone listening to a broadcast. So, mate, P1 tonight, mate, it was an absolute solid drive. Probably a year that could have been, always fast. You've got to be happy with where you finished, though, and obviously finishing off the 10-round series with a nice dominant drive tonight.
Yeah, it's unfortunately life gets in the way, so I missed a number of rounds. But I'm not too sure where I finished in the championship. I'm kind of hoping maybe a top 10. I'd be pretty satisfied with that. But it's a great track to get a win at. 30 laps isn't easy around here. So it's sort of testament to all the boys. I think there's only. Oh, well, there you go. So I'm not too sure, how far I'm going to go up, but
Well, you say 30 laps is not easy. Me and Paul are about to tackle 161 on the 19th of December. So we're about to do our first Bathurst 1000. So that's going to be interesting.
I can't say I've already done a Bathurst 1000, an official
one. I haven't done a Bathurst 1000. I've done a Le Mans 24-hour and come fifth, so I'll take that. But, mate, 30 laps around Bathurst, great job at the front. Obviously, a big shout-out to everyone for your P1 tonight for what we'll bring to the end of the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship here.
Yeah, certainly. Just a shout-out to my teammates Russ and Dan Green. A lot of coaching goes on behind the scenes during the races. They're having their own battles, and they're still always checking in on what I'm doing. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to all the sponsors throughout the season. It's obviously not possible without them. Damon May, Dave Oliver, all the guys behind the scenes, Michael Budge, Jonathan Hancock doing race control. and yourselves. It's good to have this series broadcast. It's sort of added another element to it. Everyone sort of wants to show off a little bit, I guess. So and obviously congratulations to Jordan on the win for the season. He's just too good.
No, mate, you really showed in that race what class you were, and I think I was talking to the guys at the start of the broadcast. I think it was the Hungara ring that I really first noticed you. You know, you really took the fight to me. I was like, oh, hang on, got a bit of a problem here. And no, you've shown speed throughout the whole season. I think that even I would have had an issue trying to keep up with you tonight. That was probably the class drive of the season. It was really clinical. You know, your first lap you executed perfectly right from that start. That was a really clutch one. Did you ever think after that first lap, or when you're on that first lap, do you ever look behind you at your mirrors and your relative to see where everyone is, or do you just focus on the road ahead of you, especially because you're on cold tyres?
No, I won't lie. I definitely was looking at the relative. I sort of noticed Colby botched the start a little bit, so I got a reasonable start, so it was a half decent lead going up Mountain Straight. But yeah, you've always got to sort of watch your relative on that first lap, because you sort of don't know where everyone's strengths and weaknesses are. And like Colby showed pace all night. Like it was just through probably him sitting behind another couple of cars that I was able to get that gap, and same with Andrew. I think you said that he was on his lid towards the end, but yeah, he was just running the same lap time. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Once you're out in front around this track, especially going across the top, it's a bit of a one lane, so it's nice to just have that clear track in front of you. And I had a little bit of luck too with where I caught the lap traffic. It always seemed to be up and down either Conrod or Mountain. So yeah.
You mentioned before about you came out from your first stop. You'd seen that Dimitri had already done, or had pretty much gone around for an extra lap. Did you maybe second guess yourself thinking that you'd pitted too early, or was the fuel line ball and you wouldn't have been able to make it regardless?
Oh yeah, no, I was in the pot on that first stop, and yeah, I saved a little bit in the second, so I come in with maybe a litre more than I did on the first one, so that got me a little bit more time over Andrew. And then I guess that's just the result of sitting out the front. You can sort of dictate what you're doing, so it was
Do you ever have an issue when you're out front, especially by the margin that you were, and you can see that margin is slowly edging out? Do you ever have an issue keeping focus or not letting your mind wander in those situations? Because I think we saw even towards the end of the race there, some people who were in a good position, they could have finished quite well and took home a swag of points. They made mistakes late on. Do you become aware of that, or does your mind just go to autopilot when you've got that much of a lead?
Yeah, you sort of just try and focus on what you're doing. But yeah, you do sort of notice that it is drifting out a little bit, and if anything, it kind of spurs me on to focus a little bit more, just to see how far I can bridge that gap. But
Well, mate, great job nonetheless, coming home with a P1 tonight for the final round of the championship. Of course, we've got to make it all about you, mate, here on the Indocim Esports Network for the final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GT Championship. Big shout out to all those sponsors, everyone involved tonight for your win. We look forward to talking to you for next season. But for now, mate, big shout out to everyone for your win tonight around Bathurst.
Yeah. Like I said before, shout out to all the sponsors: Affordable Web Solutions, South Gundagai Automotive, Viking Media, Blendline TV, yourselves. Like I mentioned before, obviously, it's nice to have a season broadcast, and then our sponsors at AFT Autosports, Elite Rappers Sydney, kind enough to let us represent their logo on the car.
No worries at all, mate. Congratulations once again. But your winner tonight here on the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship for what was the final round, round 10 from Mount Panorama Bathurst was Jared Knight in the 22. But I need to say a big thank you, Jordan Mulak. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth tonight. Of course, Paul obviously is in the booth, but thanks for joining us tonight, Jordan. It was great to have you, mate, and you definitely added a lot here to the broadcast here for the final round of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship.
No, thanks for having me, boys. Thanks again for this season. It's been fantastic, and yep, thanks for putting up with me tonight. Even if I did pull back the curtain slightly on how the operations actually work, I'll be sure to make sure that monkey passes me in the don'ts a bit more, gently next time. But no, fantastic job calling the whole season. You know, whenever I've gone back and watched the races, I can tell that even for just a two-man operation, this is a very well done thing. And again, we've got to say thanks to the series organisers for this. Do Photo did a very good job, even if the servers didn't always like him. But no, just a fantastic job, and got to thank all the competitors as well. This was a really great season amongst a really great bunch of guys. Everyone was fair. Everyone wanted to push themselves to do better. There's just too many to name, but you can always tell just by looking at that top part of the championship just who was really consistent, who was running their races well, and be really interesting to see what next season is like. Not sure if I'll be a part of it or not, life permitting, but hopefully can come back and say hi to everyone and possibly run the number one on my door.
Well, we thank you so much for joining, Jordan, and congratulations once again on your championship. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all the action of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship here on the InterSim Esports Network. We're absolutely humbled. We hope you enjoyed what was a sensational 10 rounds, and that will conclude the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship here on the InterSim Esports Network for this season. But it does not all stop here on the InterSim Esports Network. You can catch us on Friday night. We'll be going live for round 9 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series from Nashville Super Speedway for 151 laps. You can join us live here from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. Then you can catch us again here on Sunday night for the next round of the Ray White Rural Gander Australasian Supercar E-Series. We will be back oval racing from Phoenix for what will be a sensational round. We look forward to bringing you all the action here live from 6:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. But once again, we thank everyone from the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship, of course, all the sponsors, Affordable Web Solutions, South Gundagai Automotive, and Viking Media, everyone for allowing us to be a part of the Blendline TV ProCar GTE Championship. We hope you enjoyed all the action and everything we brought to you here on the InterSim Esports Network. But that brings to an end the final round, and round 10, of course, your winner was Jared Knight. Your championship winner was Jordan Mulak. But from myself, Paul, and everyone at the InterSim Esports Network, we wish you a good night.